Hello. Okay, we are live. And I hope you guys can hear me. I just had to take my earphones out. All right, so we're going to try and get this lined up. Hello, Samantha. Man, I hate that I have to make this so tiny, but you guys can see that, right? Hey, hey, hey. How are you? Hello. Hi, Miss Terry. Chiming in. Hey, guys. All right, I'm trying to make this so you guys can see it. It just looks so much larger than it really is. Pull back. I'm out of desk. I can't pull back. I'm out of desk. I can't pull back any further. And my screen is as far away as it can go. I'm going to have to try to make it a little bit smaller because it looks huge looking at it that way, but it is so tiny. Okay. Can you guys see that? I probably should have did it the other way, but can you see it? No, I'm not in my office, Samantha. I know that's what you're thinking, but I'm not in my office. I'm sorry. I'm not in my office. Turn your phone. I hate to turn it like once I start it, but I'm going to try it. If I turn the phone... Okay, no, that's not going to work because then my tripod's not high enough. Issues. Hang on a minute. Hang on 1 second, guys. Just bear with me here. Let me get something to prop the tripod up, and maybe that'll help. I didn't realize I was going to have to make the thing so tiny. Hang on a minute. All right, let's see. Oh, man. Okay. Issues. Okay, this is not going to work either. Oh, man. Bear with me. Yeah, you can see it, but my tripod won't stay in place. So hang on a minute. Just bear with me there. Hang on, guys. Hang on. Because the thing that I'm sitting my tripod on is not big enough. Okay, is that better? That is better, right? But it still looks like it's like, I don't know, something's crazy with it. Oops. I'm covering the camera. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. Okay, I'm going to try and make it, leave it alone. I'm going to try and make it a little bit larger. There you go. There you go. Okay, is that better? That's better. Yay! All right, so, great. Okay, I'm stopping. All right, guys, so welcome. This is our Tuesday night Awaken Now training, and I am your host, Valerie Priester, CEO and founder of Victorious Life Coaching. And for those of you that are new to my scopes and to my Tuesday night trainings, I do this every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, and 5 p.m. Central Time, where I train on all things mindset and go in depth on all things mindset. So today, one of the topics that one of my faithful followers, hi Ryan, asked me to do was how to say no without feeling guilty. So to just kind of start this off and let you know that, when you can't say no to people and say no without having a feeling of guilt, hi Ryan, that is all about mindset, right? And so one of the biggest reasons why people feel like they can't say no when they're asked, to do something is because you may feel like you're letting someone down because you're having to say no, right? And so I want to talk to you tonight about, how to say no without having that guilty feeling, right? Part of it also is that we are, when we feel guilty about saying no to people, we're seeking validation, right, from other people. Hi, Mexico. We're seeking validation from others. And so that's something that's also dealing with your mindset and dealing with how you really feel about you and who you are and what you represent. So tonight I want to talk to you about how to say no without feeling guilty. And so we're going to just move right through it. All right. So I'm trying to get everything straight here. We had a little technical glitch, but I think I got everything worked out. So I'm going to go ahead and move through. And let me make sure that I can do this. Okay, here we go. There we go. Now, so yeah, how to say no without feeling guilty, right? And how to really be decisive with your no. Let your no stand for no and your yes stand for yes, right? None of this maybe or, kind of him and hawing around and not getting to the point, right? It really is about being able to stand in who you are, right? And represent who you really are, and know that just because you say no doesn't make you less of a person, doesn't make you less reliable of a person. Hi, Lady Elect. It doesn't, or Elect Lady, it doesn't make you any less than who you are, right? So learning how to say no and affirm no when you mean no and affirm yes when you mean yes is very important to not only your well-being, but it can put you in a very stressful place when you're, changing my mindset, when you don't, I miss you too, when you don't say a firm no, right? And let's say you take on all these tasks and you want to do all these things and you really have overwhelmed yourself. Now you are stressed. Hi, love. You're stressed, right? And so we don't want to add any stress to ourselves. We want to make sure that we learn how to live a stress-free life. Now, here's the thing. We know we can't take all of the stress out of our lives, but we don't want to add stress to our lives that is self-induced. Okay? So we want to come to a place where we can feel comfortable in saying the no if we have to say no. And so that's what I want to help you understand tonight, right? If you're always saying yes because you're afraid of saying no, right? Then it's time for you to take action. It's time for you to take your life into your own hands without feeling guilty and standing up for yourself. And if it's a no, say no, right? So here's the steps that I want to help you with tonight in how to say no without feeling guilty. Tip number 1 is this. Acknowledge that you cannot do everything. That is the very first the first truth that you need to understand. You cannot do everything, right? You are not Wonder Woman. You are not Superman. You can't do it all. All right? So don't take it upon yourself to take on everything, right? When you have a problem saying yes to everyone, then you have already left yourself tapped out, right? There's probably already so many things on your plate that you cannot complete without burning yourself out. And then here's the real truth. If you burn yourself out, right, then what good are you to those that you're trying to serve or trying to help, right? So what good are you when you burn yourself out? So remember that you are not Wonder Woman. You're not Superman. You cannot do it all, right? So let's say that you've said yes to so many things. Like you've said yes to helping your friend maybe run their business or help them run errands. You've said yes to helping your children. You've said yes to helping your significant other. You've said yes to so many people. And then the next thing you know, you look at your schedule and you realize that almost everything on your schedule is for someone else. And there's very little on there for you, right? So whether you can do everything because you said yes to so many people, right? Or whether you can't do everything because you said yes to so many people, or because all of the commitments that you've made has caused your life to be so busy, right? You've got to tell yourself that it's impossible for you to say yes to everybody. It's impossible for you to serve everybody. And then feel good about saying no. Feel good about thinking about yourself, okay? And we're going to get into that because my very next point, thank you, Samantha, for sharing, is tip number two is tell yourself that you're not being selfish. Here's another reason why, of course, people have a hard time saying no, because they feel like if I say no, then I'm being selfish, right? This is one of the big reasons that people can't say no without feeling guilty, right? They always feel like if I say no and if I'm not helping the people that want my help, there's a no at times for others and none for yourself. Yes. If I don't say no, and I'm not helping the people that are asking me for help, then they feel, or if I do say no, then they feel like I'm being selfish. I'm only thinking of myself. And that's not true. You're not. You're not being selfish. So you have to tell yourself that you're not being selfish, right? And that if that person thinks that you're being selfish, right? Just because you're not doing something that they want you to do, and it may be something that's unreasonable for your schedule and for what you can do, then that's not a person that you should want to really even have in your circle, right? You got to take care of yourself. Absolutely. Absolutely. Take care of yourself. So understand that, the people that you have in your circle and the people that are pulling on you, the people that want you to do everything for them, but not taking into account that you have a life too, and you have responsibilities in your life as well. You got to then, reevaluate, is this someone that I need in my inner circle? Right? And here's the thing. Make sure you have an inner circle. Because a lot of times we just go about doing all this stuff for all these people, but absolutely boundaries. Yes, Samantha, thank you so much. But we don't have an inner circle, right? But I can't just say no, it's rude. No, you don't just say no, right? And I'll tell you how to say no as we get further into this, but you don't just say no and leave it at that, right? There's a way to say no without being rude. But here's the thing. If you're always not saying no, then you're being rude to yourself. Because you're overwhelming yourself. You're not taking care of yourself, right? So tell yourself it is not selfish for you to say no, right? I want you to think of all the times that you have said yes to people in the past. And I want you to really think about, is that being selfish to you? When you overwhelm yourself, is that being selfish to you? Right? So really, really understand that this is not selfish for you to think of yourself. All right? Here's what you have to know. You got to love you. You got to love you enough that you do not allow people to really run over you. You do not allow other people to call the shots in your life. Right? You got to love yourself enough to know that, again, it doesn't make you any less of a person if you have to say no to someone. It doesn't make you less caring. It doesn't make you, arrogant. Any of that, right? If you decide that it's time for you to take care of you, you have to love you. All right? Tip number 3. Is this helping anyone? Tip number 3. Know that you can't please everyone. This is a big one. You cannot please everyone. I don't care how much you try. You can't please everyone. Someone's always going to be shortchanged or unhappy or, disappointed in your actions. So you cannot please everyone. If you go around, your life trying to, it is a hard one, Samantha. If you try to please everybody, imagine the chaos that you're creating in your life, that you are creating in your life because you're trying to please everyone. And you can't. It's like setting yourself up for failure. So understand and know that there's no way for you to please everyone, right? So you have to acknowledge that it's impossible. That's impossible to do. Think of all the people in your life, how many different things that they want, how many different things that they want you to do, right? How many different directions that they're pulling you in. Can you really please everyone? Right? Someone will always be disappointed. Someone will always feel like they're shortchanged. All right, so you got about one more chance there. I think it's Morris. I can't see your name that clear. So understand that you cannot please everyone, right? People pleasing is a habit, right? It is a habit. And it's one that you thank you. We'll do that. It's one that you grow to really, really repeat over and over and over again, right? Because that's what you've been taught. That's what you've practiced all your life. I mean, and I think a lot of that too comes from even when we were children, right? Remember, we would get like the pat on the back, right? You can't type this evening. That's okay. We would get the pat on the back when we did, what others thought was great. And then, of course, we get punished when we did something that they thought was wrong, right? Some of that, of course, is justified. But then at the same time, the message that it leaves upon us when we're children is that we have to try to always be pleasing to everyone. And that's just impossible to do, right? So you can please the people that you really care about some of the time. Here's the thing, some of the time. But it's not possible to please every person every time, even the people that you really care about. It's just not possible. All right? So understand that not everybody is going to have, oh, okay, hang on a minute. I think my PC just froze. Not everyone is going to have that happy face, you know, and feel like everything is okay. Okay, I don't know why my PC is freezing up. Hang on, guys. Hang on. Always stop it, Samantha. You know I'm on the old laptop, right? So it's okay. It's all good. We're going to keep moving because it's gonna catch up. It's going to catch. I don't know why it's like, it's really like, it's causing me problems. Probably because Samantha's watching. Okay, I didn't want to go to 4. I want to be on 3. All right, well, since it's taking me... Okay, there we go. Know that we can't please everyone, right? So not everybody's going to be... There we go. I think I'm just moving too fast. Hang on a minute. Not everybody's going to be this happy face, right? Not everybody's going to be this happy person. Don't cry, Samantha. I know, I'm on the old laptop. Samantha is my tech coach, and of course she's probably, you know, going to get on me about being on this old laptop, but it is what it is, so we're going to keep pushing through, right? Okay, so tip number 4 is, and I think I moved this a little bit, there we go. Tip number 4 is understand why you have a hard time saying no, right? Get to the root of, find my cursor, there you go. Get to the root of why you say no. Understand why, or why you have a hard time saying no, right? Is it because you don't want people to stop talking to you, right? What is the reason? Is it because you don't want it to look like you don't care about the person, right? So you got to become aware of what makes it so hard for you to turn a person down when you know that the yes that you're giving is not going to produce your best work. It's not going to produce the level of excellence that you really want it to produce, but yet you say yes anyway, right? So you got to get to the root of why is it that it's so hard for you to say no, all right? So if you're afraid to ever say no because you're worried that that person will stop caring about you or stop talking to you, right? I have a hard time saying no for all the reasons you mentioned. I like to try to please everyone. Yeah, that comes with trying to please everybody, right? So you now understand that that's impossible, right? So don't set yourself up for something that is impossible. Don't set yourself up for failure, right? I want people to think that they can come to me when they need something. I want them to trust me. And that's a good thing to have, but here's the thing. If they always come to you, right, and when they need something and you always say yes, even when it's to your detriment, then are you giving them your best? Are you serving them out of excellence, or are you just serving them out of wanting them to always know that they can come to you, right? They already know that they can always come to you. That's why they always come to you. So they know that. But what you have to understand is that if you put yourself in a position where you're in overwhelm, you're not giving your best. So do you want to give your best, or do you just want to give something so that they'll know that they can count on you? Ask yourself that question. Do I want to give my absolute best? Do I want to serve out of excellence? Or do I just want to give so that they know that they can count on me? Right? So that's the thing that you have to keep in the forefront of your mind, right? I want to give my best. Yeah. Always give your best. And if it comes to something that you know you cannot give your best because you're already stretched, it's better for you to say that than to accept the task or the responsibility of something and then give it less than your best, right? We always want to give 100%, at least 100%. But when you know you can't do that, then be willing to acknowledge, I can't do this, right? It's not possible for me to fit it into my schedule, or I don't have the time to do it, or even sometimes it's not even within your expertise to do. And that's a big one right there, because why take on something that you're not even knowledgeable enough to do, right? That's a huge one. So understand that there's nothing wrong with you saying no. You got to make sure that you clear the way for you to be able to do that. All right? Okay, tip number 5. I'm trying to look through the thing. Get out of my head. Yes, get out of your head, because that's where all of these thoughts are. It's in our head, right? Or we can say, I'm not able to do it, but I know so or so-and-so, yeah, may be able to help. Yes, you can point them in another direction. Send them to someone else who you know can help them, right? And then I'll get into the tips on how to say no, right? We'll get into that after I go through all of the reasons, that you don't say no, right? And I'll show you how you can say no without feeling guilty. So tip number 5 is this. Understand the different tactics that people use to get you to say yes, right? People are very smart in how they handle you, right? And here's the thing. And it's because you've taught them how to treat you. Okay? And so if you've always been guilty of saying yes all the time, even when you know that it's something that you may not be able to do, something you may not be able to give your 100%, full excellence in, then you've taught them how to treat you. And it's just like this, woman here with the strings and the puppet. They know which strings to pull. They know how to get you to say yes. They know how to tug at your heartstring, right? And make you feel guilty about saying no. And so you have to really understand the different tactics that people use to get you to say yes, right? If you can recognize the different methods that people are using to manipulate you and get you to say yes when you really want to say no, then it becomes a whole lot easier for you to say no, because you already know that the person is trying to control you in some way, right? This may be big when it comes to our children. Right? I remember, I don't have young kids at home, but I remember when my daughter was younger, kids are very, very good at manipulating you and getting you to do the things that they want you to do. You got to become aware of that and really understand, how the different ways that they use to manipulate you, so that you don't end up doing the things that you know is going to cause you to go into overwhelm, right? You don't end up saying yes. All right? So here's some tactics to look out for. I'll give you a few things to look out for. Number 1, the bullying, right? The bully keeps insisting that you do the thing that he or she wants you to do, right? And is even, they may even be mean or aggressive in the process, right? And you can turn the bully down by keeping your cool and not reacting to their aggressive tone. Because sometimes people will use an aggressive tone with you to get you to do what they want you to do. They'll use that bullying tactic, okay? Another one is whining. Okay, this is real big with kids, right? The whiner can keep complaining about, how hard something is until they just break you down and get you to agree to help them with whatever it is that they're trying to do, right? So instead of either listening to the whining, instead of really listening to the whining, change the subject, right? Avoid contact with the person, at least for a little while, until they get over this whining spell or whatever it is that they're, trying to do to get you to say yes. But you've probably been around people like that. It's like, oh, but it's so hard and I don't know how to do it. And, it's going to take me so long and you're good at it. You're really good at, can you just help me with it? I'll get it done faster if you help me with it. You've heard the whiner, right? And so when you have people that are whining, they tend to bring you out of your, element and make you say yes. Hi there, Elmira, right? No one won't help me. Yeah, that's a good one, Ryan. No one will help me, And so that's another way. Another way is, of course, by guilting you into doing it, right? Some people will try to make you feel guilty, right? Complaining, yes. By telling you that you never help them. Have you heard that? Oh, you never help me. Or you never come through in a pinch for me. You never do anything for me, right? That's trying to make you feel guilty so that you will give them that yes, right? Even though you know in your heart of hearts that you have helped them before, right? Or you always say no. Yeah. They'll put all those things out there. You always say no, right? Putting the blame on someone else. Yes, right? And here's the thing. A lot of times the stuff that people are asking you to do is stuff that they put off and procrastinated over, and now it's urgent to them and they want you to drop everything and do it for them. Right? So understand that they can guilt you into doing it. And then here's another way that they can manipulate you into doing it, and that's by the complimenting, right? Like I said earlier, oh well, you're amazing at this. No one can do it like you, and and you do it faster. You're smarter, and when you do it, it looks so much better. All of that. And I've been guilty of that, sometimes too with people. So I have to really understand, yes, that's exactly what we're talking about, manipulating you into saying yes, right? That is manipulation. All of that is manipulation, right? Whether it's bullying you into it, whining so that you do it, making you feel guilty, or complimenting you. All of that's bullying. All of that is manipulating you to get you to say yes, right? So you have to understand that when you can recognize the people that are manipulating you into saying yes, then it's easier for you now to say no, because you can see them, a mile away. You can see them coming, okay? So, boy bye, or girl bye, right? Ain't nobody got time for that. Absolutely, absolutely. So how do you say no? How do you say no without feeling guilty, right? How do you say no without feeling guilty? I'm going to give you the tips on that. Okay, this is how you say no. Number one, and most times they use the same tactic. Yeah, so you can see it coming. What do they say? There's nothing new under the sun, right? So if you're paying attention, if you are alert and aware of how people are treating you and how they come after you to get you to do something, you can see it a mile away. You can see it when it comes, right? So here's how you say no. Here's how you say no, right? You manipulated me to add a picture. Good for you, Ryan. Good for you. Yeah, we got to crack that egg. We can't have those eggs in here. So how you say no, number one, is talk in a calm and even voice. A calm and even voice, right? Use the same voice that you would use to ask to speak to someone on the phone, right? Don't get excited or anything, or don't get angry or anything, but be firm, be calm, and be clear, right? If you sound emotional or confused or upset, then the person will sense that you have a weakness, and then what they'll try to do is exploit you on that weakness, right? So make sure that you sound calm. And then when you're calm in speaking with that person, the person will see that you're being reasonable and that it's okay for you to say no. Right? It's okay. That was healthy manipulation. Yes, it was, Ryan. Thank you. It's okay for you to say no, right? But if you don't raise your voice or sound upset, then the person will they'll actually be more likely to accept your explanation of why you can't do it. Okay? So talk in a calm, even voice. Number two is have assertive body language, right? Stand tall, keep your arms at your side, and use gestures to emphasize your words, right? Make eye contact with the person, right? Make eye contact. A lot of times, when you are feeling guilty about saying no, you won't make eye contact, but be very secure in who you are and make eye contact. Don't kind of fidget or play around or be like, well, maybe, I don't know, be decisive with your no. Let your no mean no and be firm with that, right? Don't allow that person to make you, again, feel guilty for saying no. Stand tall. And remember, I have the right to say no. All right? Number three is one that, a lot of people use when they feel guilty about saying no, and that's don't apologize too much, right? You've heard it before when someone, is saying no, they can't do something, they keep saying, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do it, I'm sorry, I can't. No, don't apologize too much. No, because you have nothing to apologize for, right? You have nothing to apologize for. So if you feel sorry that you can't do the work, then just simply say, I'm sorry, I can't do it, right? But don't go overboard with constantly complaining, right? I'm not complaining, but constantly saying that you're sorry, or apologizing for it, right? If you do that, the person's going to think that he or she can still convince you to do the task because you're so over apologetic about it, right? And don't say, I'm so sorry that I can't walk your dog next weekend, or I feel really, really, really bad about it. Just don't go all over, in left field, just trying to make them understand that you feel so bad about this. Because come on, how bad can you really feel, right? The reason that you have a hard time saying no without feeling guilty is because you are allowing yourself to feel bad about the saying no. So don't over apologize. All right. The next one is explain why you can't do it. And here the same thing. Don't go overboard with your explanation because, again, you don't owe them, right, this long drawn out story. Yeah, Samantha. Yeah. And again, that's because of the guilt that you're feeling. So you don't have to say I'm sorry. You have nothing to be sorry for. Nothing. That's two words that I try to take out of my vocabulary, even when I'm apologizing to someone, because think about what it's saying about you. I'm sorry. You're not sorry, right? If you want to apologize, say I apologize, right? It also a habit to say I'm sorry and then say I'll make it up to you. Yes, Ryan, absolutely. And so then there you go again, going out of your way, right? And then you end up saying yes, right? So I want you guys to remove that from your vocabulary. Don't say I'm sorry. Say I apologize, right? But don't go overboard with it, right? So your explanation why you can't do it, again, don't go overboard with that, right? Give a brief explanation, right? And make the person understand why you can't do whatever the task is that they're asking you to do. Great point to tell our children. Yes, Elmira, definitely. Because our children say that a lot. I'm sorry, And you don't have to be excessive about explaining this, right? But giving just one sentence or two of an explanation so that the person can really understand that you have too much going on to take on their task too, right? But again, don't write a book. Don't recite a book to them because you don't owe them all of that, okay? And you don't have to lie. You don't have to make up excuses. Just be honest, right? So here's some explanations that you can probably use to when you want to explain, right? So here's one. I can't finish this project tonight because I have to wrap up this report by midnight. Okay? I can't drive you to the dentist tomorrow because my husband and I will be celebrating our anniversary that night. So be brief. I can't go to your party because I have to take a final exam the next day. Right? This is good. I don't own... Yeah, you don't own their tasks. They do. Absolutely. That's a good point, Elmira. Good point. Okay? And then the last one is this. Give the person some alternatives. Right? I think Ryan said early on that maybe you can point them in the direction of somebody else who can help them, right? And so if you're still feeling really, really guilty, then find another way to help them, but not taking it on and putting it on your plate, right? If you can fit it in at a different time, maybe fit it in at a different time. But I want you to always become aware of how much you're taking on so that you are not, again, taking on their task, but you are mindful of what you have on your plate. See, a lot of times we say yes before we really look at all the things that we have on our plate. And sometimes we can't see all the things that are on our plate because we don't have them written down. We're just kind of flying by the cuff or the seat of our pants, as they say, right? I think we feel guilty because we care about and love them, yet we don't have the energy or know-how. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's definitely a very good reason why, right? I think we mentioned at the very beginning is why one of the reasons why you do feel guilty is because you do care about them and you do love them. But here's the thing. If you're taking on more than you can handle, and you end up giving them less than your best, then is that really showing that you care and that you love them? Right? You always want to give your best. Always want to give your best. And so for those of you that don't have, your to-dos or your schedule written down, you're not working from a schedule or a to-do list, right? That is a definite no-no, because how do you know what you're doing every day? How do you know what you're striving towards? So you should have your goals, written for every month, and then the goals that you have for the month should actually roll up to the goals that you have for the year, right? It's not, we can't spread ourselves too thin, right? You can't spread yourself too thin. So all of those goals should be written down, and then you should break them down so that your monthly goals should have some weekly tasks that roll up to the monthly goal, right? And so those weekly tasks is what you should have on your schedule that you're working from, so you're not just flying by the seat of your pants, and so that you always know how much you have on your plate, so that you do not accept more tasks or responsibilities than you can handle or give your absolute best. All right? So if you don't have your goals written out, if you don't have a schedule that you're working from, I challenge you tonight before you lay down to make out a list of what the things that are most important to you right now that you're working on, so that you can be focused every day on what it is that you're really working on, and so that you know how much you have on your plate, right? So that you know whether or not you have the capacity to take on more or not. And you know when to say no. All right? So I hope this was helpful. Does anyone have any questions? Does anyone have any questions or comments? You guys were a very good audience tonight. Thank you so much. Any comments or questions? Thank you, Elmira. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the heart love and the support and the feedback. Thank you. Thank you. Anything that you're dealing with that you just need help with, a challenge, or task that you're trying to work on, and it's challenging for you because you haven't said no. Anything. Any questions? All right. So how many of you feel like you can, with confidence now, really assess? I'm glad you touched on this topic. Thank you, Ryan. Really assess how to stop being a people pleaser. Okay. The way you're going to stop being a people pleaser is, number one, to identify when you are doing the people pleasing, right? When you're attempting to do the people pleasing, and then identify why. Really go deep, dig deep, and identify, why is it that I'm trying to please this person? If you have to take it one person at a time, right? Identify, why is it I'm trying to please them? And then you can come up with, how to stop it, because then you know the reason why, right? How do you tell a colleague, mentor that you don't need the help they offer because, I missed the last part of that. Clouding your vision. Because they're clouding your vision. Was that the last part, Amara? You just politely say, thank you for your suggestions, and I'll take them into consideration, and you keep moving. Just keep moving, right? You don't have to be rude. You don't have to, just kind of shut them down, because here's the thing. You like to make people happy. We all like to make people happy, honey. We all do. But again, ask yourself the question, if I'm just doing this to make them happy, am I giving them my best? If you're overwhelming yourself by saying yes to do something to make them happy, then is that your best that you're delivering? 9 times out of 10, you're gonna realize it's not. It's not your absolute best. You can do better. And you do better because you come from a place of authenticity and a place of not being in overwhelm. Right? If you're in overwhelm, I don't care how much you try to please someone, you're not going to be your best. Spend that time you use people pleasing with time loving on yourself. That's a good suggestion, Ryan. It really is. It really is, because the deeper thing that you're dealing with there is how you really feel about yourself, right? At the root of all of that, at the root of not being able to say no, at the root of wanting to please everybody else, is how you really feel about yourself. If you love and you're happy with yourself, right, then you lose the desire to want to please everyone. It shifts, it changes. You want people to be happy. You want to provide help for people. You want to, people to feel good when they're around you. But when you really, truly, truly love yourself, and you have self-love, and you're not going to overwhelm yourself, you're not going to put yourself out, or mistreat your body and mistreat, what you have to be able to help someone else, then that changes the way that you want to serve and really see others happy. It changes, right? And it all starts with taking care of you first. Because if you don't take care of you, then you cannot make sure that others are happy and that others are taken care of. All right? So I hope that helped. Great, great. Always ask yourself, am I giving my best? Or am I just doing this, right, to make someone happy? Always give your best. Thank you. I'm glad it did. I'm glad it did. Any other questions? Any other comments? What's the there, Myra? Yeah, always give your best. Always give your best. And here's the thing, guys. Even when you give your best, when you know you're giving your best, I want you to, do that, but let go of the need to control the outcome, right? Because that can be a tricky thing too. So giving your best doesn't mean that the outcome is always going to be the way you think it should be, right? Because you can't control that. But just make sure that you're always giving your best from your heart and let the outcome be what the outcome is going to be. Because you cannot control the outcome, right? Like, unattach yourself from the outcome. Just always know, I'm going to give my best. I'm going to do my absolute best. Okay? Because that's all you can do. That's really all you can do. All right? That was an ouch for me because I need to learn to take time to love on myself as well. Yes, yes. Got to do that first. Got to do that first. And take self-care. My self-care coach that's on here, Miss Amira, my massage therapist, will tell you, you got to take care of yourself first. Self-care is so important. Yep, self-care boss. So important. All right. Any other questions? I'm going to wrap it up. We've been on here for about 45 minutes. Yes, Elmira, date yourself. For about 45 minutes tonight. I thank you guys for being here. Remember that if you want to reach out and connect with me, you can connect with me you're so welcome, for a free 30-minute chat, right? And if you're really, thank you so much, Amara, I appreciate it. If you're really struggling with, saying no and not feeling guilty about it, let's have a chat about it, right? You can go to bit.ly/30-minute session 16 and schedule your free mindset makeover session with me, and let's talk about it. Let's talk about, what's really sticking in your head, right, that keeps you saying yes when you really, really want to say no. You're welcome, love. Thank you so much. Good night to you. You want to say no, and you need to say no. What's in your head? What keeps telling you that you have to say yes? You're welcome, Ryan. Thank you. Thank you. So make sure that you go here, bit.ly/30-minute session, and schedule some time to talk with me. All right, guys. Thank you so much. It has been a pleasure with you guys tonight. I apologize that last two Tuesdays I had to miss, but no worries, right? Sometimes we have to do what we have to do, but I'm back, and so make sure that you join me back here next Tuesday night for another AwakenNOW training session. And if you guys have any topics or items that you want me to cover on Tuesday night, be sure to connect with me on Facebook. You can send me a private message on Facebook, either through my timeline, my personal timeline, Valerie Priester, or at Victoria's Life Coaching on Facebook. Or you can even go to my website and message me too. Some topics that you want me to actually cover on Tuesday nights, and I'll be happy to do that for you, because I want to make sure that I give you my best, right, and serve you from my heart and give you what you actually need and want, right? So I don't always want to be the one making the decision on everything that you want. So definitely shoot me some ideas and topics on what you want me to cover on Tuesday night, and I'll be happy to do that. All right? So thank you guys so much for being here. You have an awesome, awesome evening. Don't forget, tomorrow is Wednesday, so I will see you for Live at 5 tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and you too, Ryan, 3 p.m. Pacific Time. So be sure to join me back here live on Periscope for Live at 5. All right, guys, have an awesome, awesome evening, and take care. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for the participation and the heart love. Love you guys. Bye.